Hello, everybody. This is Brett Davis coming to you from the Brett Davis podcast in beautiful Coronado, California. It's an honor today to finally. I've heard very nice things about Attorney Daria Thomas. How you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. Doing fabulous. Thank you for asking.
So I've heard very nice things from my producer, and I kind of Google some of the things you do, and we live in a world right now where there seems to be a real big disconnect with a lot of things. And one thing that is vital to
Mhm,
talk about, I
mhm.
think, is legal. And one of the things that's
Yes.
very valuable is that a lot of people need services, but maybe can't afford the services. So tell us
Mhm.
a little bit
Yeah.
about how you came up with that concept to be able to work with the little person.
Well, I've been practicing law since 1991. I went to Vanderbilt Law School and I did work for the Juvenile Legal Aid Clinic. And then after graduating from law school, I did insurance defense. I worked with my ex-husband for many years. He's a lawyer too. And I just sort of gravitated towards the smaller cases. A lot of the lawyers, like my ex-husband, like the really big cases, and they won't even touch anything that's small. And I like to help people. That's probably why I did juvenile legal aid clinic back in law school. And I'm very good at talking with someone, hearing what the problem is, and then I have like an uncanny knack for kind of just narrowing it down and figuring out what I need to do to get the case, the issue resolved. So a lot of people come to me when they have an issue, when they're in some kind of legal dispute and emotions are running high, and then two people can't talk together to resolve it. They'll ask me to come in and resolve it. I do small car accident cases that some of the bigger law firms won't take. Like, for instance, I just settled a case for $8,000. No other law firm would take it. My clients were someone slammed into them when they were leaving the Vaughn's parking lot, and the insurance company was trying to tell my clients that their insured never hit their car, that there was no damage, but I got all the photographs and I managed them to get a settlement because they were hit. So people come to me with problems that other people won't touch. I'm not free, but I'm really reasonable. And I like to do it probably because I've just dealt with so many arrogant attorneys that it's like they're there just so they can feel good about themselves and get a big fat retainer and charge 400 or 450 an hour. And I like to see that, I'm helping people that maybe can't afford that, and give them some relief. And I
Mhm.
just constantly running into people that have an issue come up and I'm able to help. I and
How
I
busy?
just feel it makes me feel good. I make some money doing it and I have a son, so it's all for his future benefit. And I just feel so good. Like I just helped one of the security guards at our complex came to me. Her mother had passed, and one of her sisters was the trustee, is the trustee, and she was trying to keep. Seemed like she was trying to keep all the money from her dad's estate, and she didn't have. She doesn't have any legal expertise whatsoever. So I reviewed the whole trust. I told her what she needs to do. I was retained to send a letter out. And after just working on the case less than 4 days, her sister agreed to put the house that she's supposed to inherit in her name. So she has full title to that for the rest of her life. And the trust is going to pay all the taxes. And she looked me right in the eyes and she's like, "Thank you so much, Dee. You helped." She just looked at me with such a deep look of gratitude. And she's like, I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't helped me. And it
Mhm.
just makes me feel good. Like people ask me all these different issues. And just like part of the reason I was a little bit late today, I was doing paperwork for a gentleman who he's very rich, but he had an issue with a tenant that moved out, who after he got served with paperwork is trying to say that there's mold damage. He's lived there for 20 years. And I'm like his assistant property manager, and I help him with any kind of issues that come up, with the property. I help him get things resolved, and it just gives him a lot of peace of mind because these tenants, it puts a buffer between that person and the person they're dealing with. So I'm like a buffer. I help people resolve conflict, and I do it at a reasonable price, and they don't have to come in with a $5,000 or $10,000 retainer. I'll tell them, hey, if I think I can write you a letter on this and I'll just charge you $150, I'll do it. And my satisfaction, I make some of it, and I help people, and I want to do some good in my life. I like to be, my dad was a psychiatrist, and so I kind of have that too in me. I'm almost like a legal consultant / advisor. So I give them advice on other things too, because lots of times the conflict arises because they're not handling people well. So I kind of can read the whole thing, and then not only do I help them resolve the conflict, but I also show them like kind of what maybe some of their issues are, how they need to just like when things get hot, just step back, not go at it with people, because some people want you to go at it with them so they can sever ties or get away with whatever they want. And I give them little pointers like, hey, you know what, if so-and-so call, just forward the call to me, or if you're handling it yourself at that time and someone's trying to pick a fight with you, tell them you have to go to the bathroom. Come back 10 minutes later, let the hot air blow. And by the time you come back, it'll be dissipated.
Hopefully.
So that's the kind of stuff. No, I'll have another strategy if that doesn't work. So I help people with conflict resolution, and I help them settle all kinds of different small cases. And I had one client just came to me. She paid a lawyer $500 to write a trust. And the lady said, I'm not going to finish it unless you get 500 more. So I did the trust for $200, and her dad's 94.
Man.
So if he drops dead, at least they have a trust. It only took me maybe an hour and a half to do it. Yeah.
So you're probably, because your fees are affordable to most people, you're probably always busy. You always have work.
I've been getting really busy lately. Yeah, I started praying on it that I want to do more and more of this. And lately I'm getting a lot of people asking me for help, and it's wonderful. And I'm hoping I'll just keep, because I realized that, I'm 57 in 13.
We're the same age.
Okay. Yeah. Right, Brett? But
you look way younger than I do. I don't know what you're doing.
Thank you. I have a 15-year-old son. Well, it's kind of a wake-up call when you realize, hey, I'm 57. In 13 years, I'm going to be 70, right? My mom just had a stroke recently, and you go, hey, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? You know what? I want to help people. Mm-hmm. I want to help my son, number one. He's my number one priority. But when I breathe my last breath, I want to be right with God and just feel like I did some good on this planet. So I started praying to God to send me more clients, and suddenly things have really been happening. I've always, all my life, had clients. But for a while I was doing like more sales stuff. For a while I was in real estate and handling all the legal stuff for the real estate firms I work for. But now I'm just concentrating only on this. And it's really, because like I said, I've got 13 years to 70. So this is what I want to do. You can only do so much. And there's so many people out here in San Diego that need someone to help them with stuff like this. Sure. You know what I mean?
Well, your reputation is going to grow also with people, and word of mouth is the best advertisement.
Yeah, there's so many attorneys that just have just hot air, and they're so arrogant, and they're disrespectful to the clients, and they're there just to try to get what they can get out of the client, in my opinion. So I like to, of course I want to make something, but I don't rake people over the, and I try to, and a lot of the lawyers, they want you to sign retainer, get a big fat retainer. And even though they know they can get the case resolved, they'll drag it on so they can keep billing you by the hour. I've seen it so many times, and it's it's like they're using people so they can get that 400 or 450 an hour. And I guess when I started my own practice many years ago, I was only charging like 150 an hour. I keep it to that, or actually lower, because I'll say, hey, I'll do this for 150 and I'll end up spending, many hours on it. But I'm a woman of my word. If I said 150, that's what I do. And when I see that the hourly rate has gone up to 400 or 450 now, which I never charge, I'm thinking, I know there's inflation and everything, but how did it go from 150 to 450? And there's a
Maybe it just depends on the lawsuit. Maybe it depends on how big
that
the
is
lawsuit
the
is.
average. That's the average going right now. It is the average rate. And these attorneys just figure, hey, you know what? It's just like how rents have gone up and real estate prices have gone up.
450
What's
is the
that?
average. 450 an hour is the average rate for
It's
an attorney money.
about 400 or 450 is the average rate. I do a lot of special appearances too. Like, let's say I've handled a lot of special appearances for people that are their homes have been foreclosed on by the bank, and then the bank is trying to evict them.
Right.
And I work with the paralegal. He does all the pleadings for me, and he knows exactly how to delay the eviction. Does it really reasonable? He's had clients, we delayed it for 2-3 years. They don't get thrown out.
How do you
And then
do that? That's amazing.
yeah, I do the special appearances down at San Diego Superior Court, because that's where all the hearings are now for evictions, is at the Superior Court on Broadway. And so I'm in there all the time, especially before COVID. Now it's all virtual, but I'd be down in the courtroom a lot. And, these attorneys get up. You see the same attorneys over and over again that are working for the banks. And they will ask, for fees, and it's 400, 450 an hour. Yeah. And my ex-husband, he charges that. All his hot lawyer friends charge that. Most of the lawyers I know,
I'm sorry,
they
I'm
charge
laughing.
that.
I'm
And
laughing because of the way you said it.
if you called them and asked, and then they, not only that, but if you retain them, then if their paralegal works on the file or a secretary answers the phone, they can bill for that, usually for the paralegal. And they're really expensive. They're the same price as, say, a lawyer was, 30 years ago or 20 years ago. So they're not only billing you for their time, but they're billing for the paralegal's time. And I've seen it put people out of business too. Like I had this one client, I did small cases for him. He owned a carpet store right out on Encinitas, right off the freeway, at a U-Haul place there too. And some gal, he put beautiful Brazilian hardwood all the way through her house. She put it on her credit card. She disputed the charge, and he argued back with the credit card company and had the charge stay on there because he rightfully put the hardwood floors in it, spent a fortune doing it. And she sued him. She sued him, saying that the floors were defective or just made something up. She didn't want to pay the money for the floors. She wanted to pay nothing for the floors. And this guy, a little older, he'd been operating that gas station, U-Haul, and flooring store for like 30 years. I've owned a number of rental properties. That's why I'm good at handling landlord-tenant disputes too. And I can settle a lot of them just with my letters and phone calls. But he did like a bunch of my flooring on my North County properties. Unbelievable job. And just like, if the floor wasn't level, he'd have his guys level it for no extra charge. He would do above and beyond. He was so reasonable, and he was the nicest man. And this lady sued him, and the lawsuit went on for like 2-3 years. He had to hire someone that was charging $450 an hour. I was back in Michigan at the time when this went on, because I was practicing also for a while in Michigan. I was licensed there also. That's where I'm from, Midwestern girl. And when I came back in town, he's like, well, Dee, can you look this over? He goes, you know what? This guy's been charging me this much, and I unfortunately, I'm going to have to sell the business. They put him out of business. He sold the whole thing because his attorney fees ran so high, and he just didn't want to be part of it anymore. It gave him a taste of what can happen to if you're on the receiving end of a lawsuit, and he just wanted to get out, you know? So I seen people like that, and like the client I'm working with right now, he was, when he sued his client in small claims and the guy countered for saying there's mold, I helping him make sure he phrases everything properly, because if you put a statement in there and you say that the other guy's a liar in the statement, then they can go get a fat cat lawyer and sue you for defamation, slander, and libel, and then you be in the same boat as that guy with the carpet store paying $4.50 an hour to some lawyer to defend you, and then you'd be forced to settle because the person didn't know. You can't put in writing saying someone's a liar or anything like that unless it's true. So I kind of like look over documents and make sure that the person doesn't put something in there that could make them subject to a civil lawsuit where they have to pay a lawyer that much, like $4.50 an hour to defend them. Because that's what happens. It's really and then like when I was working insurance defense up in Orange County, I handled all the clients that had insurance, and the insurance company was paying us for defense. This one client he owned a car dealership. His wife was real pretty, she's young, gorgeous, and she got in a fight with another wife of one of the car dealerships, and she called her a slut, and I think she texted it or no, faxed it over or something or no, I think she said it, but it was heard by other people in the car dealership business. He got sued. His car dealership got sued because it was said on the premises, and thank God he had insurance, but this lawsuit was going on for like 3 years because she said you're a slut.
It sounds
so
like
I kind of put
Beverly Hills Housewives.
Yeah, I kind of help people. Like, I'll look over their stuff when everything's like super heated, and then I'll kind of like direct them, like, don't do this, don't do that. And then if they want to hire me, I'll tell them, I'm going to send the letter out letting know I'm representing you, and all phone calls, all emails, all texts, everything has to go to me. No more contact with you. And then I let them get out of it, and that person can just contact me. So they're not, engaging back and forth, and possibly the richer ones, someone could come and sue them later. When they have money, people will find a reason to sue you. And sometimes business people don't know, they'll start fighting with someone and they want to retaliate back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just let the client go, look, you know what? There is no fight here. You already won. They're throwing this at you because you're successful and you've got money, and you've already won it. There's no contest. Let me handle this from then on, and don't say anything else to this person. Don't answer their texts, their emails, their calls. Just from this point on, I'm going to handle it, and I'll handle it peacefully and with dignity and class and respect.
Let me ask you this question. We're going to finalize the interview. It's been a good interview, by the way. It's been very informative.
Thank you.
I'd love to interview you again sometime if you're interested.
I would love to. I will go on half an hour early, so I make sure I'm on it.
Well, I think
put a little bit more makeup on.
I need to put more makeup on.
I will.
Oh, yeah. You don't need any makeup. You're fine.
Oh, thank you.
I'm not putting any makeup on.
You don't need it. You're naturally handsome, right?
No, stop.
You're like my son. You guys are natural beauties. I need that. I'm like the female duck, where I need like a little extra help. You and my son, you're the male ducks with all the natural, colorful plumage.
And green eyes, hazel eyes.
Yes, exactly.
He has hazel eyes, right?
He has light green eyes like my mother. My mother is, she's 87 and her boyfriend's 30 years younger. She's real pretty, and he got his looks from her.
I thought you were going to say your mom's 87 and her boyfriend's 30.
Late 50s. He says late 50s.
And then of course you ask your mom, "Hey mom, aren't you worried?" And she says, "Well, if he dies, he dies."
I know, right? What color are your eyes?
Hazel.
Wow.
They're very similar to your son's. It's just you can't tell right now because my eyes are, for some reason, I look like my eyes are closed. They're not closed, but they just look like they're closed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you've got all the girls after you too, right?
No, I have, you know what? I have daughters after me. I have three daughters. That's who's after me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I've got an amazing, beautiful wife who's basically I'm me and my dog Poe are the only males in the house.
Oh, Poe and you, huh?
Yeah, just me and
Okay,
Poe.
Poe and Brett.
Edgar Allan.
P.O. Is it? Oh,
POE.
P.O.E. Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Edgar Allan is
Oh, so you've got 3 daughters. How long have you been married?
20 years almost.
Wow, that's so nice.
Yeah.
That's like Alan Jackson, the country singer. He's one of my heroes.
I love his music.
He's a I know, I love his music. He gets better and better, like a fine wine
Right.
with his songs, and I've been listening to him a lot in the last couple months. I was really into him back in the 80s, and then I rediscovered his music. And he even has a gospel CD out that he wrote just for his mom.
Oh,
And
nice.
he has that song, So You Don't Have to Love Me Anymore. It's a YouTube video. It's so good.
I'll
And then
check it out.
I listen to while I'm doing legal pleadings, I play Alan Jackson Blues Man all the time. It's
Write that
so
down.
relaxing.
Write that down. I'm going to check it out.
Oh my God.
We're going to be
You
doing
get
some.
addicted to it. Just
We're going to be
addicted
doing.
to his voice.
We're going to be doing some country music events that we're going to be putting together. I'd like to talk to you about. And
Oh,
get your
that would
for,
be
for,
great.
for charity, like the military, for the people that have the post traumatic and stuff, and also for a foundation that's building water systems and trying to stop the poaching of the rhinos and the elephants over in Africa. So we're going to be doing
Oh,
some
I'd
stuff like
love
that.
to help with that. I would
Yeah,
absolutely love.
it's
I
great
wonder if
stuff.
we could get Alan Jackson on the program.
You know what? We will make that a goal. Matter of fact, that's him calling. Alan.
No, I was seriously thinking of sending him a letter and let him know I've been listening to him for 30 years and how much I admire him
I think you
because
should.
do you know he has 3 daughters and he's
No.
been married to the same wife the whole time, and
God bless him.
Faith Hill seduced him. He had a short affair with her. He went back to his wife, and a lot of his songs have his wife featured in it and his 3 daughters. And some of the
Wow.
songs, there's one called
Didn't know
You Can
that.
Always Come Back Home, and he's got his daughters in it. And you can just tell he's a good man. And when you read about him and you watch all of his songs, you can see what a strong person he is, what a role model, what a good man. He could go run off with anybody. He's Alan Jackson. He's stuck with his high school sweetheart
Good for
all
him.
these years, even when she had cancer.
Wow.
I'm gonna write him a
That says a
letter,
lot.
and I'll let him know we want him on your podcast.
You tell him that I'm sure Faith has changed, hopefully from that whole thing. And I was going to say Faith didn't have any faith during that time.
I think it was just one of those things. They were on the road together.
Yeah,
And it just happened. But we all have sins. We all fall
sure,
short. But to
sure.
be able to jump back on the saddle like that, admit your mistake, and then do the right thing, and then stay with it, it's like he's an inspiration to me. He
Well,
really is. He's a good man.
that's a good story, and I've never heard it, and I appreciate you sharing it with us, and I appreciate you coming onto the podcast and
Yes,
going
me
over some of
too.
the legality things that you go through and what you do. What's a good website that people can go to if they want to get in touch with you, or how can they contact you?
Okay, I don't have a website, but you can contact me. My phone number,
Okay,
619-356-1463.
one more time.
619-356-1463, or email me to mattsassistant@aol.com, mattsassistant@aol.com. I used to work as a real estate assistant, and I handled all the evictions and collections for the real estate firm in Michigan. For 10 years, I did that.
Wow,
So
wow.
I still have the same email. I'm a creature of habit. I'm pretty
So
loyal too.
are you originally from Michigan?
Yes, I am
Very,
born and raised in Bloomfield House, Michigan.
very interesting.
Yeah, my dad was a doctor, psychiatrist. He went like from intern all the way to the head of Wayne County General Hospital, psychiatric hospital. There's a big
Wow.
shop back there. So I learned a lot of psychology from going to the office and the hospital with my dad. And I think that helps me with my legal practice because a lot of life is learning how to read people. I can
Sure.
talk to someone and read their
Absolutely.
personality.
Yep.
I can read the documents and tell what's really going on behind the scenes, and it helps me with my legal cases. And it helps me to advise the clients too, because lots of times there's a lot of emotion, so that's what it's all about. Thank you
Well,
so much for having
no,
me on the show, and I
I
look
had a
forward
great
to
time.
I look forward to doing this again.
Okay,
Thank
I
you
do
very
too, and
much.
I think there's a lot of people we can help, and I think that you're doing great stuff. Thank you for what you're doing. God bless you, and look forward to seeing you in person.
God bless you. May the Lord always be with you
You
and
too, my
keep you
dear,
and your family safe.
and you and your wonderful son. You take care of yourself.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
Thank you. I'd like to
Godspeed.
thank my Godspeed. I'd like to thank my sponsors because without them, we would not be here. The gym, thank you so much for what you do. Indian Motorcycle, which is a beautiful motorcycle, and my next bikes I'm going to get, Indian Motorcycle. Saquon Casino and Resort, thank you for all that you do. And of course, Attorney King, thank you for believing in the show. And also thank you for helping me put together the Academy Award for Teachers coming up. And IB Fitness, of course, for what they do. And Marina's just an amazing angel that's come into our lives. And her show is cutting edge. If you get a chance, watch her new episode where she talks about losing your kids, not being able to get to your kids, and through ugly divorces. It's a good show. And it's really heartwarming. And I think everybody would like it. Everybody have a good day. Take care of yourself. And God bless.
Okay.